Welcome to Day 12 of the MDPN 100, which is 100 days worth of storytelling prompts to help you market your product in subtle, honest, and engaging ways. As always, I want to start by saying that you should not use AI to write your story. I say this because when you give AI your full backstory and what you learned from it, it can then learn it and feed it to any and everyone on the internet. We're entering a time where the only thing that'll set you apart from your competitors and AI is your story and expertise, the stories you have and the lessons you've learned that AI can't replace or replicate, yet and hopefully never. So I think it's really important for you to protect them. Now, let's jump into the lesson. Today's theme prompt and story prompts can be found in the description below. In today's story, you'll highlight a piece of advice that significantly influenced your journey, but you almost ignored it because you didn't like the messenger. We've all done it. Ignored words of sound wisdom because we wrote off the source. As kids, we swear our parents are out of touch, slow, embarrassing, or just plain wrong, only to wake up in our 20s one day, realizing that they were right about almost every single thing, which we would never tell them, of course. Or worse, we pop out some kids of our own and have the audacity to give them the exact same advice that our parents gave to us. While that's normal for a parent-child relationship, and if you're a child with a traumatic history with a parent, I feel you and I honor you, how about when it comes to the business world? What happens when someone you don't respect, maybe because you don't agree with their ethics, politics, attitude, choices, execution, or some scandal they were in that has nothing to do with business, gives you advice that will change your life? Those moments are hard because your ego wants to write off everything they say because you're better than that, or you don't want to be like them. And agreeing with them on anything feels like a slippery slope that could lead to agreeing with them on everything. But whatever you say to justify parading around on that sky-high horse of yours, you can't deny that they're right, and what they said was exactly what you needed to hear. In a moment, I will give you the top 4 things you need to remember to write this marketing story successfully. But let me digress for a second. I've shared before that when I was younger and hadn't learned how to get it under control, my ADHD brain would go a mile a minute, leading to chronic overthinking and analysis paralysis. All day, every day, I listened to courses, lectures, and podcasts created by the top industry leaders, gurus, or whatever you want to call them, that were all successfully doing 7-figure months every month. They were good, really good, and their information was sound, but each had their own strategy. So, when it came time to start selling my digital products and monetizing my content, I got stuck trying to figure out which strategy was the best one and what the right thing to do was. And because I didn't know the best way to get the success I wanted, I decided to do more research, hoping that it would bring me the clarity that I needed to get rid of the fear that was keeping me from taking that leap of faith. Unfortunately, all that did was flood me with more information that made me feel more overwhelmed and paralyzed, which caused me to become more and more stuck and broke. I spent months, years, honestly, searching for a certainty that never came. A certainty that research can never give you because it only comes after taking action. Finally, I happened across a video from a businessman turned motivational speaker that I had never particularly liked. I've always found him to be abrasive, insanely arrogant, and just plain annoying sometimes. His name is everywhere. If I said it right now, you'd know exactly who he is. But I won't. He may not be my favorite person, but I'm not going to bash him. I'd always heard good things about his products and events, but because I hated listening to him for more than 30 seconds, I never did. But one day, I was so frustrated with my hyperactive brain and desperate financially that I was willing to hear out anyone who was where I wanted to be. So I clicked on this guy's video, and he said something that smacked me harder than Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. He said, "There are people a lot dumber than you making way more money than you are right now, and it's your fault." Damn! I've never wanted to cuss out a computer screen so bad. I thought to myself, seriously, who the F does this guy think he is? He doesn't know how hard I've been working, how much time I've invested in my business, how high quality my work is. There's no way it's my fault that I'm in this position. I just don't know what to do. As soon as I figure that out, I know my business will take off. I instantly got off YouTube and vowed to never listen to that pompous a-hole again. Because how dare he talk to me that way? And for the most part, I didn't. I honestly still don't, unless something looks really, really interesting. But in the weeks after I watched that video, the algorithm did its thing by shoving this guy in my face as much as possible. YouTube recommended more videos of his. Facebook started cramming my feed with his ads. And every time I saw his cocky smile, his words rang loud in my head. There are people a lot dumber than you, making way more money than you are right now, and it's your fault. Finally, I got so sick of God working overtime to get my attention that I took a deep breath and accepted it. I accepted the fact that all of my current struggles were indeed my fault. That I was using research as a fancy excuse to procrastinate out of fear. That I was absolutely capable of choosing any path and rerouting whenever I needed to. That I was letting my fear of the new pain that may or may not come after I dive into the sea of the unknown keep me trapped in the pain that felt safe because it was familiar. It was my fault. All mine. Point blank period. Damn. I hated admitting that he was right. Oh, it knotted my knickers. But I am so grateful that I found that video, or that it found me. It made me take the leap of faith and launch my first digital product bundle, which got 100 sign-ups in the first 5 days of launching. It drove me to launch a business where I was hired as a ghostwriter, creating digital products for the entrepreneurs I worked with. I was amazed by how easily things flowed into place when I stopped overthinking and finally just did it. And, in honor of my struggles and very long season of stuckness, I launched MDPN for Creators, a growing library of over 700 digital product and content ideas with detailed guides that help members make, market, and monetize each one, so no one else has to spend years being paralyzed by indecision and going broke for no reason. It eventually caused me to create the MDPN 100, which will hopefully help you attract more sales by sharing your stories and helping your audience thrive in your own unique way. And it all happened because of that one sentence from that one video made by that one guy I don't really like. I may not have respected him then, but I do now. That's my story. Here's 4 things to keep in mind when you're writing yours. 1. Contrast can inspire conversions. The oldest trick in the marketing world is to create contrast. In this story, the enemy is a person you supposedly didn't respect. While you could choose to go all in and bash someone directly, I strongly recommend you don't go that route because it can make you look unprofessional, unlikable, and unnecessarily petty. People hate complainers. Don't be a grown adult whining about another grown adult. That's weak and a universal turn-off. Be honest, authentic, and blunt, but approach the topic with tact. In my story, I flat out said that I thought the guy was abrasive, arrogant, and annoying. But I also said that his products and events have a good reputation, and he's achieved a high level of success, and I said that he was right. And I did it all without mentioning his name. Based on my description, I can imagine that there are quite a few people that came to mind for you. And when that mental image popped up, I can imagine you said, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly who they're talking about. I feel the same way." And I can guess that it made you feel a little more interested in the story, right? If so, then great. That's a good sign. I got you a little more emotionally invested without damaging my reputation by publicly bashing someone else. More, tell your story in a way that is honest but respectful. It makes people feel more connected to you and your brand without putting you at risk for backlash, lawsuits, and other unnecessary drama. 2. Make sure your story highlights feelings and problems that your ideal buyer is probably experiencing right now. In my story, I talked about how ADHD caused me to overthink and how I was stuck because of analysis paralysis and fear that was causing me to procrastinate and stay broke. ADHD, overthinking, stuck, analysis paralysis, fear, procrastinating, being broke. That's 7 pain points that my ideal buyer can probably relate to and that my product solves. The more pain points you can touch on in your story, the more chances you get to present your product as a solution they can actually benefit from. 3. Fit the pain points in naturally. This is a subtle sales pitch. This is not the time for landing page ad copy. You're not reading off a list of bullet points. You're telling a story. Make sure it flows effortlessly. Talk the way you would talk to your friends, if that aligns with your brand. You wouldn't say, and then it unlocked the treasure trove of guilt and shame I felt because I was quietly procrastinating and filling my days with fluff in conversation, would you? I hope not. I genuinely loathe whoever taught AI the words fluff and unlock. If you wouldn't say it to your friend, you probably shouldn't say it in your story. Connect with your audience in a human way. That's something that AI can't do. They shouldn't feel like they're listening to a sales pitch. They should feel like they're listening to a friend who understands what they're going through and knows how to help them. 4. Don't make stuff up. People can spot a lie or false claim from a mile away, so be honest. The MDPN 100 is a way to easily market your product in a way that feels honest and authentic. Don't try to manipulate your story to sound better or worse than it actually is. Just tell it, straight up. And don't try to paint your product as something it's not. Make sure it lives up to everything you said and solves every problem you say it can, or else don't make the claim. The MDPN 100 can get you fast on-the-spot sales if it's done correctly, sure. But it's also meant for the long game. It's meant to help you build a genuine relationship with your audience that makes them want to stick with you throughout the course of your brand's existence. It's meant to make them view you as their first resort instead of an option they ignore. It's meant to make them talk about you to others like they're talking about a friend, the way Californians talk about Trader Joe's and most people talk about Chick-fil-A. So you don't have to exaggerate it or over-dramatize anything. Make claims your audience can relate to and you can back up. That's all you need to do. If you want to make extra money but don't know how to, check out our growing library of over 700 digital product and content ideas with detailed guides that will help you make, market, and monetize each one. And if you don't want to create anything new but still want to make more money, consider becoming one of our affiliates. We offer high commission rates and we add more ideas to it every month so it'll never grow stale. All of the Day 12 prompts can be found below. I'll see you in the next lesson.